Okay, the topic for today's class is the general feedback structure. We will introduce the what is feedback and types of feedback and its advantages, and if possible we will cover properties of feedback along with general feedback structure. Uh, this chapter is very easy to score marks in examination. It's full of block diagrams followed with few mathematical derivations. So, it is very easy to study because remembering block diagrams is very easy, and little bit of theory is required. It is not so complicated as we have seen in module 1 and 2. Okay. In module 1 and 2 it purely depends on circuits, but here it is purely a block diagram based diagrams. You need to write it here, that is very easy compared to the writing circuit diagram here. There are few equations also will come across and following with a little bit of theory. There are two chapters in this module 3. One is feedback amplifier, other one is going to be the output stages and power amplifiers. This chapter is also going to be very easier for students to score full marks in the main examination. With that brief information, let me move on to the this is the slides. You can see the similar the same material is already uploaded in the Google Classroom. Students can follow that. Okay. Okay, let me start with this feedback. We have already discussed fundamentals of feedback in the oscillator chapter. Okay. Hope you recall, in oscillator we use the positive kind of the feedback, because the positive feedback always produces sustained kind of oscillations. Okay. In today's class we will start little a few introductory topic of this feedback. What is feedback, and little merits and demerits we will discuss. Let me go through the points with reference to the introductory part here. Most physical systems incorporate some form of feedback. You see any physical systems in front of you, or in your home, or in any places, feedback is employed either directly or indirectly. Okay. And specifically the negative feedback, with the theory of this negative feedback was developed by a person called as Harold Bloch. He was an electronics engineer, and he was working with a company called Western Electric Company. In the year 1928, the negative feedback concept was introduced by this person here. Okay. Nowadays feedback is going to be very popular and is used widely in almost all electronic systems. Okay. And it is very difficult to imagine electronic systems, electronic circuits, electronic systems without the feedback here. Okay. And next point will clarifies the same thing. Feedback concept either implicitly or explicitly used in almost all electronic systems here. You take any electronic system. We have discussed few amplifier circuits in module 2, especially the common source amplifier with the resistance called as RS. This is a straightforward circuit which implements negative feedback in this the common source amplifier. Okay. We also discussed merits and demerits of the with feedback and without feedback. With feedback the gain will reduce, but at the same time there are many more advantages which we are going to discuss in this chapter. Okay. And feedback mechanism is not only used in engineering, but also it is used in non-engineering areas also, such as biological systems. While if you observe any biological systems, you will come across feedback mechanisms even in this non-engineering kind of areas also. Now, let us come to the definition. What is feedback? Feedback is nothing but it is taking a portion of a signal. We are defining feedback from electronic point of view. From electronics point of view, feedback means taking a portion of signal arriving at the load or arriving at the output and feeding back to the input. That is the basic definition of the feedback. Now, we are taking the output and will give back to the input. That is a normal definition. Okay. Specifically, if you look at negative feedback, what is negative feedback? So, why negative feedback is important, we will discuss that. So, here in the negative feedback, we are going to add the feedback signal to the input, so that in that the signal is going to cancel some portion, some of the input here. So, that is going to be a negative feedback. Alternatively, we have defined this in oscillator circuit. Negative feedback means the phase of the feedback signal, we are more interested in phase, okay, phase of feedback signal, okay, and which we call as VF. And if we observe the phase of input signal, source signal, these two are going to be 180° out of phase. In such case, we call the feedback type of feedback as a negative feedback. So, this is a formal definition which we have given here, but mathematically we can define based on the feedback, negative feedback as there is a 180° phase shift between the feedback voltage and the source voltage. That is the definition. Now, if you ask ourselves a question here, does not this reduce the gain? We are asking here whether negative feedback reduces the gain. Of course, it is yes, negative feedback will reduce the gain, but there are, as I told you, there are many more advantages of negative feedback. Only if you look at the gain point of view, definitely it reduces the gain. This is the price we are going to pay when we employ negative feedback in amplifier circuits or in any other circuit. Okay, the gain reduces, of course. The other advantages are the distortion will get reduced, noise is going to get reduced, and bandwidth is going to get increased, and a lot of other advantages are there. The following question will answer the advantages of negative feedback, okay, in spite of this having disadvantage as reduction in the gain. Why we use feedback? Feedback provides a series of benefits such as I mentioned, it is an improved bandwidth. Bandwidth will increase compared to without feedback, and also noise will get reduced. We can't eliminate noise, noise will be there always, but to some extent we can decrease the noise by employing the feedback. Bandwidth increases, noise decreases, and also distortion. Distortion may be second harmonic distortion, and third harmonic distortion. Generally, the harmonic distortions resulting from the input sine wave can be reduced by employing the feedback here. Now, let us have a look at the general flow chart for the in order to define what is feedback. So, we will start with any system, electronic system design, we will start with an initial conditions. Maybe say if your circuit employs capacitor, so we need to assume what is the initial voltage. If the circuit employs inductor, what is the initial voltage, what are the assumptions, parameters, especially the gain, other things, transistor. So, these are called as initial conditions here. Any electronic system design, whether it is an amplifier in case of analog circuits, in case of digital circuits, if it is a flip flop, all those things will start with some initial conditions here. Okay. Then we will have an input parameters. If you look at an amplifier, the input parameters are nothing but the gain, the input impedance, output impedance, okay, the gain with feedback, all those things are going to be the parameters here. The temperature or operating conditions. So, all these things we are going to define in the beginning itself when we design an electronic system here. Even students, while doing project also, you should start with some initial conditions and certain assumptions in the parameters. Then you can model the system, you can develop the system or implement the system, develop in case of common amplifier circuit, you can rig up the circuit and observe the output here, and there is now you can see there is a feedback. Okay. After seeing the result, if you are observing any kind of noise or any kind of the variation in the output here, then you can decide whether you can make any changes in the input parameters or not, and then you can correspondingly update the parameters and see whether results get changed or modify by varying the parameters here in this stage. This is just like a cycle here. Okay. This is a cycle, we will be here in this loop as long as the output is going to be improves in each and every iteration, the result keeps improving. Okay. So, this is an iteration which we will follow in fine tuning the system here. Okay. So, here when we say fine tuning, always we are observing the output here, and based on that we are going to take some decisions here. So, that is why this is a feedback. Okay. So, this is a feedback, and we are not going to be specific here whether it is a positive feedback or negative feedback. Generally in a feedback systems, we see the output, and based on that we make an analysis here whether parameters has to be updated or not. Okay. This is very important in order to improve the system performance. Okay, so in any whether it is a simple circuit or complex circuit, this kind of the feedback mechanism is followed. Now let me move on to the types of feedback. We understood through the flow chart what is feedback. We start with an initial conditions and we end up with the output results, and observing the results we are going to fine tune the system here. Now coming to the types of feedback, there are two types of feedback. We have already seen this in oscillator chapter. The one is going to be the negative feedback, other one is going to be the positive feedback. Alternatively, the negative feedback can be called as a degenerative feedback. We have noted this term even in common source amplifier also. We called common source amplifier with RS as a degenerative amplifier, because this amplifier employs negative feedback, and performance of this amplifier is certainly better compared to an amplifier without feedback resistance such as RS here. Okay. So other type of amplifier is positive feedback. We employ in depending on the applications. We use even positive feedback also, especially in oscillator oscillators. While developing or designing an oscillators, we use positive feedback. So positive feedback circuits are also called as regenerative circuits. Every time system tries to boost its output, because the type of feedback here is a positive. Positive means the signal feedback signal and the source signal, they are going to be in phase. In phase means the phase shift must be 0 degree or it must be 360 degree. Okay. So both are in phase. So such a kind of feedback can be called as positive feedback. Positive feedback can be seen in circuits such as oscillators. There are even many more circuits which uses positive feedback, but the most important one is going to be the oscillator circuit here. Now let us look at the positive feedback and negative feedback with the block diagram illustration. So generally any feedback systems will have these 4 prominent blocks, as you can see here: source block, an amplifier block, the load, output load, and there is a feedback network. So these are the 4 blocks. Any feedback mechanism will have, any system, electronic or non-electronic or engineering or non-engineering kind of feedback system will incorporate these 4 blocks. Okay, so in this you can see there is a summing, we call this as a mixer in general. There is a mixer here which will mix the source signal, which we call here as XS, X with small x with subscript as S. This is nothing but source signal here. Generally we denote here the signals with small x. X means it may be the voltage or it may be the current here. So any kind of signal it can be. So generally we denote here with a small x. Okay, so here XS means it is a source signal that is coming as an input, that is applied as an input, and XF which is a feedback signal which is coming from the output. What amount of feedback that we need to provide back to the input is decided by this feedback network. Feedback network is generally the passive network. We have seen in case of oscillator, this is going to be a tank circuit. Okay, so this is the feedback, a passive network. Okay, so the amount of feedback which is coming here as an input and going out to the mixer, that is decided by this feedback network. And here the one thing which you can observe here is type of the source signal and the feedback signal. As you can see here, there is a positive, we have denoted for the source signal, and there is a negative signal which is 180 degree phase shift, that is coming as a feedback signal here. The signs here shows that there is a feedback. One is positive, that is a source signal, the other one is going to be negative, which is a feedback signal here. So with reference to this source signal and the feedback signal, there is a sign change here, as you can see here. Minus indicates there is a 180 degree phase shift. That is why this feedback is a negative feedback here. Okay. So every time when signal comes here, an analog signal here, a portion of that is taken, and that is taken through the feedback network and given back to the input. But if you observe the phase difference from between here to here, there is a 180 degree phase difference. So that is why this type of feedback is negative feedback here. Okay. Conversely, if you look at a positive feedback system, the same blocks are exist here also. The source block, amplifier, basic amplifier block, load, and this is it may be resistive, it may be the capacitive load, depends type of application. There is a feedback network here. So again you can see there is a loop here, and the type of signal which is XS and XF you can observe both are going to be a positive here. This shows that there is both signals are going to be in phase. So this kind of feedback network is feedback circuit is called as positive feedback. Though here we are not specific to any circuit here, the amplifier can be either BJT based or it can be even FET based. It can be any type of amplifier circuit here, and even the feedback network also we are not specific to any kind of feedback. It can be the resistive, it can be the capacitive, it can be the inductive, it can be anything. Okay, we are discussing here a general block diagram of negative feedback system and the positive feedback system. These two blocks can be called as a signal flow diagrams also, because it indicates how signal flows from source to the load, and by incorporating the feedback here. In negative 180 degree feedback exists, whereas in positive feedback system there is a 0 degree or 360 degree feedback exists here. Okay. So, now we have understood the basic definition and the types of feedback. Okay. So, now we will move on to the advantages of negative feedback, because many of us are interested in to know what are the merits of or advantages of the negative feedback, why we employ negative feedback in most of the circuits, because it has a lot of advantages. We will discuss one by one. The first advantage of negative feedback is desensitize the gain. What do we mean by this desensitize? We are already aware of the definition called sensitize or sensitivity. Okay, sensitivity means even for small a variation the output is going to change a big. Okay, that is going to be sensitivity. But here we can look at here the gain of the if we are focusing on common source amplifier. Okay, so let us say the CS amplifier, the gain of this amplifier is sensitive to many parameters, like whether it is a BJT based amplifier or it is a FET based. So, since it is a common source, it has to be FET based. Okay, it can't be BJT based. Okay. Just to remove this, let me use here in our examples the common source amplifier. So, common source amplifier is basically a MOSFET based, we have discussed this earlier. MOSFET is one of the device which belong to a FET family. Now, we will see that how this feedback mechanism, negative feedback mechanism desensitizes the gain. So, it makes this gain independent of the transistor parameters. That is what the advantage or benefit we are going to gain from the negative feedback here. So, if you look at the definition wise, makes the value of gain less sensitive to the variations in the value of circuit components here. Sometimes the design values are different, and what the component that we use to rig up circuit is going to be different. Even if there is a change in the component value that we are using in rigging up circuits compared to the design, that changes the output of a circuit. Circuit becomes so sensitive for the change in the component values, and even for the temperature effects also. Each component vary differently for different temperature here. Now, how do we make all this temperature variations, component variations, all these things will sensitize the circuit, and output you are going to get is totally different. Now, once we employ this negative feedback, this mechanism will desensitize the variations in the component values, or even the temperature effects, all those things will be desensitized, and so that the value of output becomes change in the value of output becomes very less. That is the benefit we are going to get here. Okay. I would suggest for all the circuit design students should employ the negative feedback, that because that desensitizes the gain of the circuit. Next advantage is reduce the nonlinear distortion. Okay. So, here there are two types of distortion, one is linear distortion and other one is going to be the nonlinear distortions. Most of the devices, fundamental devices like BJT or FET, they are going to be a nonlinear devices. We have seen this through the transfer characteristics. Specifically, if you look at the transfer characteristics of FET or MOSFET, it looks like this. Okay. If you look at this, a graph of V naught versus Vi for the MOSFET, it is non-linear. Now, this kind of devices, whenever if any distortion comes across at the output, that can be certainly reduced by employing a negative feedback here. Since these devices are non-linear and any distortion that exists, okay, it may be the harmonic distortion, that is very popular distortion that we have seen in analog circuits, harmonic distortions, second and third harmonic distortions that need to be eliminated, otherwise it corrupts or reduces the performance of the output signal. So, those kind of non-linear distortions can be brought down by employing the negative feedback here. So, let us look at formal definition: making output proportional to the input, that is going to be linear. In other words, making gain constant is nothing but reduction in the non-linear distortion here, or independent of the signal level. Okay, making the output independent of the signal level, that is nothing but aiming for reducing the non-linear distortion here. This can be easily done by employing the negative feedback here. The third advantage of negative feedback is noise effect can be reduced. We have seen noise is very dominant in transmitters and receivers, especially in communication systems. That noise effects can be reduced to a maximum extent by employing the negative feedback here. So, noise is nothing but an unwanted electrical signal, which is a signal which is of not interested. Okay, such kind of signal, we sometimes we do not know where these signals are generated. It can be within the device like BJT or FET, or it can be sometimes atmospheric even disturbance also. Those kind of unwanted electrical signals can origin at different places. Sometimes you see this noise even in amplifier circuits also, disturbances in the output. So, such kind of unwanted electrical signals can be reduced, okay, by employing the negative feedback. We call that as a noise. Noise is different from the distortion. Many times we get confused with distortion and the noise. Both are not same, they are going to be different. Okay. So, here noise means which is random in nature and it appears within a device like BJT or FET. Okay. So, it can even come from atmosphere also. Some any external spark may generate some unwanted noise in an amplifier circuit. You might have seen in your televisions also at your home, any spark or any electric the sparks that will create some disturbance in your TV picture signals. Okay. So, even you might have observed that through even mobiles also, right. Okay, that's a noise here that can be easily reduced by employing the negative feedback. All these things what we are trying to say, we are going to prove it mathematically, okay, at later stage of this in this chapter. Okay. It is just not we are saying simply theory, but also we are going to prove it with the mathematical equations. Next, fourth advantage of negative feedback is control the input and output impedances here. This is one of the important the step in amplifiers, especially here. We need to have a good control of input impedance and the output impedance such as Z0 here. These are the two impedances which will decide what should be the source signal strength and what should be the output the source level. So, that is decided by this input and output impedances here. For a good amplifier, Zi must be very large. For a voltage amplifier especially, it must be infinity, and Z0 must be 0 for a very good amplifier here. And it is very difficult to maintain this infinite input impedance and output impedance as 0 for a voltage amplifier here. So, this can be controlled by employing the negative feedback because we are connecting the output back to the input, and that can even control the impedances by using a proper feedback topology. In some feedback topologies, we are going to explain what is the input impedance and what is the output impedance. We are going to even prove it for some feedback topologies. We will there experience the physically how this circuits feedback type can control the input and output impedances. Another important and last important advantage of feedback is going to be the extended bandwidth. So, bandwidth is very important because more the bandwidth we can transfer more signals. Okay. So, bandwidth is nothing but it is a frequency range. Okay. So, every circuit has got its own frequency range. Okay. So, the circuit frequency range is limited by various factors. We have seen this in the common source amplifier. Common source amplifier between the frequencies such as FL and FH. FH indicates higher cutoff frequency, FL is the lower cutoff frequency. The difference between this FH and FL is nothing but the bandwidth. So, bandwidth is nothing but which is FH higher cutoff frequency minus the FL here. Okay. So, this bandwidth is limited without feedback, but once we employ feedback this bandwidth will be increased. Why bandwidth is important here? So, bandwidth is important because more the bandwidth we can transfer large signals, more number of signals I can say having higher bandwidth here. Okay. Probably you might have seen internet bandwidth at your home. Usually the service provider will have his own bandwidth and he will distribute among the users. So, now you can think of if you have if service providers brand bandwidth is higher, means he can accommodate more number of users. There is something called user bandwidth and service providers bandwidth here. Okay. We can call this as a channel bandwidth here, user bandwidth and channel bandwidth here. So, if the channel bandwidth is higher, then we can accommodate more number of users here. So, that is an advantage we are going to gain with the larger bandwidth here. So, bandwidth is very important. Sometimes I compare bandwidth like a road. Okay. You can think of that more the larger the width of the road, more number of vehicles can pass. Likewise, even in bandwidth also, larger the channel bandwidth, more number of users it can accommodate here. So, bandwidth plays a very important role in every circuit here, but unfortunately every circuit has got some limited bandwidth. Even we have seen that in the amplifier circuit such as common source, the bandwidth is limited by the higher cutoff frequency and the lower cutoff frequency. And we also discussed the response of lower cutoff frequency and what factors does it depend upon, how to increase decrease the lower cutoff frequency, and we have even seen the high frequency response also, and we have seen how higher cutoff frequency and what factor it depends upon. Higher the FH and the lower the FL, bandwidth will increase. Okay, that is the technique which we usually adopt to get more bandwidth. But here the mechanism is without paying much importance to the other aspects, bandwidth can be easily increased by employing the negative feedback here. All these desirable parameters are obtained at the expense of reduction in gain. What we said here, the bandwidth increase, reduction in the distortion, reduction in the noise, everything we can achieve at the cost of reduction in gain. One drawback of negative feedback is gain drops, okay, gain decreases. This is the penalty we are going to pay. In electronic circuits, we can't achieve simultaneously every thing as an advantage. But if you want to gain something, we have to lose some other thing. Likewise, even in negative feedback also, if you want to gain in terms of bandwidth, in terms of the noise reduction or control the input and output impedance, you have to compromise with the gain. Okay, so we have to pay for the gain and achieve all those advantages here. The gain reduction factor is also called as amount of feedback. There is alternative names which we give here for the gain reduction factor. How much gain is reduced? That is nothing but amount of feedback, that is decided by the amount of feedback. Okay. We will discuss about this later on. The positive feedback mechanism is used in design of oscillators and bistable multivibrators. We will discuss these two circuits in the coming classes, because in our syllabus we want to cover even different types of multivibrators and even the oscillators we already covered, and these two circuits employs positive feedback mechanisms. Okay. So, we have discussed the merits of negative feedback and even the circuits which employs the positive feedback as well. Now, we will move on to the few objectives of this chapter. We need to design a stable amplifiers, okay, that is one of the advantage, and study the stability in negative feedback amplifier and their potential to use it as an oscillator. These are the few objectives of this particular chapter here. The first topic in our syllabus, as we have seen in the syllabus, is general feedback structure. Okay, let us discuss the general feedback structure and mathematical aspects of the same. Okay. Okay. This is the block diagram or signal flow diagram for the general feedback structure, as we have discussed this already in the positive and negative, while illustrating the positive and negative feedback signal flow diagram. But look at here general feedback structure, it has got a source, amplifier, load and the feedback network here. A means it is a basic amplifier which you are seeing here, this is a basic amplifier, and look at the direction here, signal has to go in the forward path like this only, signal cannot come in this. Okay, that is an assumption what we do while developing the general feedback structure here. This is called as the forward the feedback path. This is a reverse feedback the path here. In the feedback network the signal has to flow in this direction only. Okay, it cannot go in reverse direction here. So, these are the assumptions which we need to use in the feedback structure, and here we have a loop here as you can see here. Okay, this the reverse flow here and forward flow creates a loop here. Okay, so which is the loop gain, which is also an important part we have discussed in the oscillator circuit here. Okay, and load here it can be resistive, it can be capacitive, it can be anything. Okay, so load that depends on the type of application, and here basic amplifier it can be a common source or it can be even common emitter amplifier. And here though we have not shown everything in detail here, this sampling, the amount of the feedback which you are going to feed back here through the into the feedback network here, it can be voltage sampling or it can be current sampling also. Okay, so that depends on the again type of feedback. Okay, there are different types of feedbacks are there, and depending upon that I can sample here the current or I can even sample the voltage also. And here also the sampled current, I may sample current here and I can provide output as a either current or voltage. Okay, that depends on type of application here. So, when we discuss feedback topologies, you will understand the mechanism here, what kind of a signal we are going to sample here and what kind of signal we are going to provide as an input for the mixer. So, this is called as a mixer here. Okay, it mixes the input signal to the feedback signal in the source signal to the feedback signal here, and here this dot here what we have shown here is nothing but a sampler. As I told you, the feedback general feedback structure will have other things also which we should not ignore here. Apart from this 4 blocks here what you are seeing, source, amplifier, load and feedback network, we see 2 more blocks which are a mixer and a sampler here. Sampling can be done either current sampling or voltage sampling, and mixing can be done with the, if it is a voltage signal we can mix with the we can have a current signal, we can mix with the current signal, or we can have, if we have an source as a voltage, we can mix even source the feedback signal as a voltage. Type of mixing depends on the application also. Okay, all these notations are explained here. Okay, students are advise students to use the same in examination as well, and also practice this. Okay, so that don't use some other notation. Okay, otherwise it leads to confusions here. As I told you, X means it can be the voltage or it can be current. We can it is a general term, X we use it for voltage or current. XS means its source signal, XF is a feedback, XI is the input signal. As you can see, there is here we have an XI, and X naught is nothing but output of an amplifier, basic amplifier or output signal. Okay. Okay, this is the diagram, block diagram of general structure of a feedback amplifier here. Okay. These things are explained below here. The ideal basic structure of a feedback amplifier shown is a signal flow diagram, which is presented in figure 3. This is a figure 3 which we are referring here. Each of the quantities X can be represented either a voltage or current, we have already said about this, and A is the gain of the open loop amplifier. The basic amplifier what we have discussed here is a open loop amplifier, or you can say it is a basic amplifier. Okay. So, that is the gain of that is shown as a capital A here. The X naught is the output of the amplifier, and Xi is the input to the amplifier, and if we extract only this part here, amplifier part, which you can write it here, Xi is the input signal and X naught is the output signal, and A is the basic amplifier or open loop amplifier here. Okay. And the X naught and Xi they are related with this equation. Okay. So, X naught is equal to A times Xi. Okay, this amplifier is a linear type of amplifier, that is an assumption we do here, because we are though this overall device fundamental device is non-linear, to use it as an amplifier we move our input and output, we clamp to the linear region of this characteristics. Okay, so that is why the output and input are related linearly. Okay, here that is given by this equation 1. The output x naught is fed to the input load as well as to the feedback network. As you can see here in the general feedback structure, the output of an amplifier is going to the load and also it comes back to the feedback network. Okay. Next is going to be the same thing which we explained here. The output is going to the load here x naught and it is coming back to the feedback network here. So that is what you are seeing in the from the general structure we have extracted here. And look at the feedback structure, and we are going to mix that with the input. So xf is the feedback output signal, and that multiplies with the feedback network gain, which is beta, and x naught is the output signal here. So x naught output is beta times it is extracted, and that is fed back to the as a feedback signal here xf. Okay. The feedback signal xf is subtracted from the source signal. Next you can see here are the between source and the basic amplifier here. There is a mixer, as we said here, and the mixer, what it will do, let me explain here. Since for the negative feedback, here we have a minus sign, okay, and we have plus sign for the source signal, the representation here, and xs and xf, okay, they are 180 degree out of phase. And for xi, which is a basic amplifier input, we can arrive at an equation here. Since this is going to be a mixer, it mixes this to the source signal to the feedback signal and provides an output as xi here. So now we can write mathematical equation for xi as xs, that is a positive signal, input signal, minus the feedback signal here. Look at the arrow mark. These things you are familiar in the control system as well. So xi is nothing but xs minus xf. Okay. Now we will see here based on this equation, xi is equal to xs minus xf, we can decide the type of feedback also. Okay. So if sign is negative, xs minus xf, as you can see here the sign is negative, and this shows that it is a negative feedback here, and for a plus sign between xs and xf, it is a positive feedback here. So based on this signs also, we can say a type of feedback is negative or positive here. The negative feedback equation, which is xi is equal to xs minus xf, can also be written in alternative way as xi is equal to xs plus minus of xf here. This is we have shown negative sign within the bracket here. Okay. And I already told about the forward transmission and reverse transmission. Okay. So look at the basic diagram here. The arrow mark which shows here, there is always a forward transmission here, and through the feedback there is always a reverse transmission here, that is shown here in this description here. The reverse transmission occurs through the feedback network, forward transmission occurs entirely through the basic amplifier. Okay, now we will have a small derivation of output signal with reference to the source signal. Okay, this is called the feedback signal. Okay, let us now do the derivation. Consider the negative feedback equation, which is defined in equation as in equation 3. Equation for negative feedback, as we have shown in equation 3, there is xi input signal is related to the source and feedback in this way, xs minus xf. This xi can be substituted in our gain equation, which we have shown already. X naught is equal to a times xi. This xi can be substituted here, and the resulting equation is shown here, as you can see here. X naught is equal to a times this xs minus xf, and xf is nothing but feedback signal, which can be written as beta times x naught. Okay, beta into x naught, that can be substituted here. So now x naught equation, okay, output of the feedback network is a times xs minus beta x naught. Now we can multiply this basic amplifier gain with this each of these terms here, and resulting equation is shown here. X naught is equal to a times xs, that is the first term, and second term is a times beta x naught here. Okay. Now, you can see from the left hand side x naught, and there is on the right hand side also we have an x naught here. We can combine together, and x naught can be taken as a common factor. So, that is what we have done here in the next step. So, after taking x naught as a common factor from the first and second term of LHS, we have x naught into 1 plus a beta which is on right hand side, you can see it is equal to A times XS here. Now you can see that the ratio of X naught by this XS can be called as a feedback gain AF, which you can see here AF, A subscript F, which is nothing but feedback gain. The output signal divided by the input signal for the feedback network is nothing but X naught by XS, which is equal to A here, which we are retaining on the right hand side, and in the denominator we have 1 plus A beta, okay, 1 plus A beta, that is going to be the gain, okay, of the feedback amplifier here. And now if you see compare this AF gain with feedback and the gain without feedback, compare these to A. Obviously AF is less than the A. Basic amplifier gain will be higher and amplifier with feedback will be lower. As we told in the beginning itself, amplifier gain of an amplifier with feedback, always there is a reduction. How much it reduces, it is given by this factor here. So, the gain of an amplifier with feedback is reduced by the factor of 1 plus A beta. This is the amount of gain reduced with and without feedback here. With feedback, you will see this much amount of gain drop, 1 plus A beta times gain drop here. Equation 6, which we have shown now, derivation which represents the gain of an amplifier with feedback, that is shown as AF, A subscript F here, okay. And this can be changed or customized to different type of amplifier. This is a general derivation what we have done here, but for specifically to the voltage amplifier, the negative feedback gain for a voltage amplifier with negative feedback, the gain with feedback is denoted as AVF. Okay, so since it is a voltage amplifier and it has got negative feedback, that is why look at the subscript here. A indicates gain, V indicates it is a voltage gain because it is a voltage amplifier, AVF indicates it is a voltage gain with feedback is equal to basic amplifier voltage gain, that is without feedback the voltage gain divided by 1 plus AV times beta. This equation students must remember, because many times problems will be asked based on this the gain formula. Okay. So, you should know what is AV. AV is nothing but open loop gain without feedback, beta is nothing but the feedback factor. This is for the negative feedback. As we can observe here, for negative feedback we got a positive sign in the denominator, that is 1 plus AV times beta. Here you can see in our derivation also 1 plus AV times beta. So, we have started with negative feedback and we got 1 plus A times beta in the denominator. But look at for negative feedback, positive feedback, what you get it here. See here we are not going to do derivation for the positive feedback, but for positive feedback this is the input equation, xi is equal to xs plus xf. There is a plus sign here, you can see the block diagram and you can observe it here. Since we have taken negative feedback, the sign here is negative here. So, we got output this V naught here versus Vs as A V divided by 1 plus AV times beta for negative feedback. Here the equation here only changes for the positive feedback. For a positive feedback, this xs will get added with the xf, but here you see that sign will change for the positive feedback here. For negative feedback you will have a positive sign, for positive feedback you will have a negative sign here. So, that derivation we are not going to do, but you should know the equation for gain equation with feedback for both positive and negative feedback here. Okay, look at here, this gain with feedback for the positive feedback system is given by AF is equal to A divided by 1 minus A beta. And now observe here AF and A you can compare here. So, since it is in the denominator, this value is going to be very less. So, therefore, AF is going to be larger than the A. So, that means for a positive feedback AF is greater than A. AF means it is a gain with feedback and gain without feedback, and but for this is for the positive feedback. Okay. But for negative feedback AF will be less than A. So, this is for negative feedback. Okay. So, you should know about this, which one is larger and which one is smaller here. Okay. So, with that we will move on to a problem exercise. One example we will solve here to understand the concept of negative feedback. Let me read out the problem for you. In a negative feedback amplifier, the basic amplifier gain A is given as 100, feedback network gain beta which is 0.04, and the source voltage which is given as 50 millivolt. Find gain with feedback. So, here they are asking you to find EAF. Okay. So, it is a feedback type amplifier, and also output voltage which you need to find is V naught, feedback factor is beta, it is already given here itself 0.04, feedback voltage which is Vf, it is asked here. So, these 4 things we need to find out in this problem here. Now, let us write down the given data. A is given, beta, Vs is given. Now, first is very easy, straightforward, gain with feedback AF is equal to A divided by 1 plus A beta. Substitute all the known quantities here, A and beta is known, substitute here, you will get gain with feedback as 20. And observe now here gain without feedback is 100, gain with feedback is 20. Now, how much amount it has been reduced? It is 1 plus A beta times it has been reduced. So, that is 1 plus A beta is nothing but 5. Okay. So, that is a value it is reduced here. Okay. So, that is the first part of the problem. Second part of the problem is output voltage which you need to calculate. For that you can use this expression AF is equal to V naught by Vs. So, V naught is nothing but AF times Vs, you can cross multiply that, and we know here AF which is a feedback gain with feedback, and the Vs also it is known, source voltage. Just substitute here, you can find the output voltage is found to be 1 volt here. Okay. So, we know output voltage as 1 volt for this type of amplifier, source voltage is going to be 50 millivolt. Next is feedback factor which is given here as 0.04, this is straightforward, no need to do any calculations. Feedback voltage which is Vf is equal to beta times V naught. So, this beta is also known, V naught is also known, so we have calculated just now. Substitute here, we can calculate feedback voltage is 40 millivolt. Now, look at here, the output voltage is 1 volt, only the 40% of this we are going to feed back into the input here. Okay. So, that is why beta decides what is the amount of feedback here, 40% here. Okay. So, that is the not even 40%, 4% actually, not 40%, 40% means it becomes 0.4 volts here. So, it is 4% is of feedback is given back to the input here. Now, let us move on to the another important parameter called as a loop gain. Loop gain, as we already shown loop within the feedback mechanism, whether it is a positive feedback or negative feedback. Here it is a negative feedback, there is always a loop exists within that, because A and beta which are connected such that it forms a loop here. Okay. Now, let us see what is this loop gain, and we also told about in oscillator circuit, the loop gain A beta must be greater than or equal to unity here for oscillator circuit to generate oscillation. This is also called as a Bar-Cushion criterion, right. So, that need to get meet the requirement to generate oscillators in a positive feedback circuit. So, now a difference signal you can calculate here xi, or you can also label this as xd. The difference signal is xs minus xf, because type of feedback here is a negative feedback here. The xd is multiplied by A when it passed through the amplifier here. So, same xd or xi what we are seeing here, when it has to pass through the amplifier, it gets multiplied with the basic amplifier gain which is A here, which now we can write x naught as A times the difference signal which is xt here. Okay. X naught is multiplied now by beta. If you look at the beta network here, the output x naught is now multiplied by beta when it passed through the feedback network. The same x naught now gets there is a feedback, there is a reverse transmission path here. Now, here the xf is now getting after getting multiplied with beta. So, this you get it as xf is equal to beta times x naught, and now you can substitute as x naught as xt A times the xt, and final equation for xf is A xt times beta here. Now, you can observe the difference signal or xi signal here. Xi is nothing but xs minus xf, xf is nothing but A beta times xt. This can be written as slight modification we are doing for this. So, instead of having negative sign here, we can write here as a plus sign and multiply with minus 1 here, and we have an A beta as it is, that is next. This is called as a loop gain here. Minus A beta is nothing but called as a loop gain here. Okay, that is an important thing when we discuss feedback. A path of a signal from input terminal through the basic amplifier through the feedback network and back to the input terminals is called forms a loop here. Already told about that where the loop is forming, and we also discussed about loop gain. The return difference signal D is nothing but which is indicated as 1 plus A beta. Okay, so this will discuss little later what is this D. D is here, we can call this as denote this as a D as 1 plus A beta, and amount of feedback also can be given by this expression, which is N is nothing but which is amount of feedback, which is given by AF by A, the ratio of feedback to the basic amplifier gain. This is expressed in decibels by multiplying with 20 log of AF by A, but AF by A is nothing but from basic amplifier gain we can write as, because we know that AF is equal to A divided by 1 plus A beta. Now, we can write from this AF by A as 1 divided by 1 plus A beta. Okay, so this is what the expression what you see here. So, for negative feedback N will be negative here what you are seeing here. Okay. So, this is about the loop gain, and further we will continue the remaining things in the next class. Any questions so far? Okay, if there are no questions, I would like to continue the remaining part in the next class. Okay.